My name is Lesley Malmstrom, and I decided to start working with Nancy because of not really getting clear answers from a few different attorneys that I was working on the potential outcomes and kind of risks and issues related to the financial part of my divorce. Nancy was able to build trust very quickly with me to be able to kind of share what was going on in our family financially, which isn't always pretty at the point that you're ready to divorce. My case was very unique because it went through both mediation and then eventually a trial. And so one of the issues with that is that outcomes can be extremely diverse, and the attorneys will tell you that the decisions may not be very logical when they come from a court system. Nancy helped me to narrow down and to provide tools directly to my attorney to really simplify what sometimes can be complex information and sometimes that need to give too much detail, but to also present it in a way that was careful about really what was unique about my particular financial situation, and then in turn the types of things that I wanted to derive from the settlement. All of the individuals that I worked with in the divorce, I definitely placed the most trust with Nancy, and there is a lot of emotional support that's needed through this time. You can become really unreasonable and emotional when there's a threat to your family's home, financial situation, your children's lives, your future. So that can really be taken advantage of in this time by a lot of individuals that work in the system. And, you know, absolutely every step of the way through the process, Nancy made me feel that she had not just my interest at heart, but also to really keep me focused on reasonable resolutions with my spouse. I don't want to get skewed in my thinking, so that builds a lot of trust, because I think many people would like to settle things, and it's not always clear what the most reasonable answers are when you're taking resources and dividing them. Probably 90% of the time you can't go into a divorce expecting to have the same amount of resources. You're splitting those resources. So that trust level is extremely important, because it encouraged me to finalize and to make decisions, and to also to relinquish or relent things that maybe I wouldn't have been willing to do on my own. Everybody on the staff was extremely helpful, easy to reach. Nancy had to do many things last minute, so did her staff, when all of a sudden I'd call in a panic. Sometimes even that panic, I really didn't need something right away, but in my mind I did, so it provided some reassurance, and so everybody was always very tolerant and willing to answer the phone and to be responsive. I would definitely be willing, and I have actually recommended as early as possible to get someone like Nancy involved in their situation. One of the most important outcomes that Nancy, I think, had was really presenting the strain on my current financial situation and the extremely high amount that my spouse was asking for, and how it would really impact the children and my ability to actually put them through college. And the judge, I believe, really heavily considered that. In fact, actually had mentioned that as one of the situations that weighed into the decision.